Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the WrestlePlug YouTube channel. NXT Takeover, Stand and Deliver, is nearly upon us, so I thought I'd take it upon myself to give you my predictions and preview the action a little bit. I am, of course, Aeron. Now, I was scheduled to be joined by Carl Wilkinson. Unfortunately, he is currently detained in some dark basement somewhere, thirsting over Hikaru Shida, so you'll have to just deal with my ugly mug flying solo. Now then, let's get to night one of NXT Takeover, Stand and Deliver. We start with Pete Dunne versus Kushida. This is going to be a technical masterpiece, is it not? Now, Pete Dunne obviously has been running around talking about how he wants to face the best technical wrestlers in the world because he believes he is the best technical wrestler in the world. I'm a little bit disappointed, to be honest, because as much as I think this match will be great, I've gone on record as saying that Pete Dunne should be doing more. Not just because he's British, and obviously I'm a huge fan of his, and I've been around shows and worked in shows that he's been on, but more so because he's Pete fucking Dunne. Come on, man. He's one of the best wrestlers in the world. He has, for me, had match of the year by far. His match against Finn Balor was world class. I have no question this match will be good. I expect Pete Dunne to win as well. I feel like he needs it more than Kushida does. Kushida doesn't really suffer from losing matches because it doesn't feel like he's in a prominent position right now, although he has had some excellent matches and some prominent title matches, including his one with Johnny Gargano. So I'm going to go with Pete Dunne to win this one. I want Pete Dunne to win as well, but a little part of me wishes he was facing someone like a Daniel Bryan over WrestleMania weekend instead of Daniel Bryan whinging his way into the main event of WrestleMania. Although, good job. If I could whinge my way into something, it would probably be the main event of WrestleMania. Now, night one of a kind of two-night package sees the gauntlet match to determine the number one contendership for Johnny Gargano's North American Championship. And of course, the winner of this gauntlet match will face Johnny Gargano the following night, night two, which I'm going to discuss. You got 6 men in this match, but I can only see one person winning, and that's Dexter Lumis. They've built Dexter Lumis as this incredible entity that's always getting in the way's way. Enough with the way puns, please, although I do love them. I have no reason to see why he won't be the winner coming out of this. He's going to be, I believe, the 5th entrant. LA Knight enters last, but ultimately Dexter Lumis, obviously, it just makes sense. I don't think it makes sense for anyone else to face Johnny Gargano, particularly not a heel, and you've got a couple of very good-looking heels here. Me, personally, I'd probably like to see Bronson Reed get a bit of a push. I know he beat LA Knight, but yeah, Dexter Lumis for me. A little bit worried, though, with the direction of LA Knight so far. Obviously, his promos are world-class. I think his in-ring quality is absolutely unquestionable, but it does feel like there's a little bit of discontent in how they want to book him going forward. Still, I trust NXT to book him better than I do the main roster because we've seen what Vince does when he gets his hands on all these stars. The last huge star from Impact Wrestling and NWA and whatnot who arrived on WWE shores was EC3. That didn't work out too well. I'm going to stick my neck out and say Dexter Lumis, and we'll discuss whether he'll be able to overhaul Johnny Gargano on the night 2 predictions, which will be coming up in a jiffy. Now then, the next 3 matches are all Match of the Year contenders. The Women's Championship is going to be on the line. I have it on good authority. This will main event night 1. Io Shirai defends her title against Raquel Gonzalez. I believe that it is Raquel Gonzalez's time. They have built her as this incredible monster. She has been nothing but a weapon of mass destruction, frankly. She has wrecked Io Shirai at every opportunity. And look no further than last week's NXT, where she completely ran the poor soul over, but Io Shirai just kept coming back for more, and in some ways did get the final say going into this match. I think it's going to be physical, I think it's going to be hard-hitting, but I think Raquel Gonzalez is going to be your new NXT Women's Champion. Where does that leave Io Shirai? Because I actually think that the main roster is a little bit bloated at the moment. Not because they couldn't use more stars, but ultimately because they've got loads of stars already that they're not using enough. You've seen from SmackDown last week the amount of ridiculous interferences and run-ins they had involving women because they just don't know what to do with them all, so they're chucking them in the tag team division for an inevitable tag team title match at WrestleMania, probably a gauntlet or a battle royal of some sort. But yeah, I'm going to stick with Gonzalez. Hopefully Io Shirai is going to come up to the main roster when not only is she ready, but also when they have something worthy for her to take on. If Rhea Ripley isn't going to dethrone Asuka at WrestleMania, I think Io Shirai versus Asuka pretty much writes itself. No, not just because they're both Japanese, because they're both world class at what they do, and also They're two women who are steeped in tradition when it comes to Japanese women's wrestling, particularly in Stardom and everything else. And it'd be very cool to see them cross paths. We never truly got Io Shirai versus Kairi Sane, but we might get lucky and we might get a proper blockbuster feud between Asuka and Io Shirai. But I'm going to go with Raquel Gonzalez to become the new women's champion. The match I'm salivating over, however, to determine the new NXT Tag Team Champions, because obviously the titles are now vacant due to Danny Burch's injury. MSK take on Legado del Fantasma and grizzled young veterans. I am going to stick my neck out and say MSK are going to win. I am going to be supporting GYV again, although it is, this is why you do this to me. All three of these teams are like my favourites. I wax lyrical about how incredible all six men are every single week. This has got dream match written all over it. I think this is going to be a blockbuster. For my money, GYV are arguably the best working tag team WWE has. There's probably better overall tag teams, possibly, although even I would question that. But they just seem to get in the ring and really work the best matches. I'm yet to see them have even a subpar match or an average match. They do nothing but excellence and world-class wrestling. I thoroughly expect this to be an utter blockbuster, and I think MSK, they're going to fulfill their prophecy of sorts after winning the Dusty Classic, and I think they're going to become the new tag team champions. And to be honest, if you miss out on this match and you don't pay attention to it, you're doing yourself a massive disservice. And the final match that is currently scheduled for night one of Stand and Deliver is Volta defending the United Kingdom Championship against Tommaso Ciampa. Meaty horses, sir. Suchusa. Little bit of Volta smacking Tommaso Ciampa around like a baby bat bitch. Suchusa. This is going to be physical. This is going to be violent. This is going to be, frankly, highly arousing if you are Aeron Nix, because I'm all about the Meaty Hoss. Did I mention that you can buy yourself a Meaty Hoss t-shirt at prowrestlingtees.com/WrestlePlug? Pretty sure I have before, but just in case you haven't noticed, kapow! One of them beauties. Got to get your hands on one of those. Just $20, ladies and gentlemen, and it can be yours. It can be yours. Anyway, Volta versus Tommaso Ciampa could steal the year easily. This is another match of the year contender. However, I'm not expecting a big upset here, and I'll tell you why. First of all, this is going to take place, I do believe, on Wednesday night, which is kind of a spoiler because Volta is defending the United Kingdom Championship on Thursday on a pre-recorded NXT Prelude show against Rampage Brown. Come on, lads. Just do better. Just do better. It just feels to me like it's been ruined, unless they're going to completely swerve us. But I think Volta wins. I don't think it makes sense if you're going to have a very rare opportunity to see Volta work over here, unless he's destroying a midget like Drake Maverick. Shout out to Drake, God bless him. Yeah, I just don't think it makes sense, really. So I have Volta retaining his United Kingdom Championship. I think it makes sense if you're going to have him dethroned to have him dethroned to a champion who can then defend it in NXT UK. Otherwise, what's the point of the brand? And I can't really see Tommaso Ciampa spending 6 months out of a year coming over here and working tapings for NXT UK. Just doesn't seem like a very logistical, common sense kind of project. And also, I'm expecting Timothy Thatcher to arrive and possibly cost Tommaso Ciampa here and rejoin Imperium, who frankly already have a massive advantage. The storyline, without anyone really noticing, is Killian Dane and Timothy Thatcher have both been taken out by Imperium, but we don't actually know that. There's no concrete evidence of that. If they both join Imperium, look out. The only reason I'm excited about the idea of Undisputed Era breaking up is because possibly Imperium are now going to step into that role as the dominant faction. And my God, you thought Undisputed Era were dominant? Just think what Imperium could do. To be honest, Night 1 looks pretty special and on its own is worthy of any takeover. Each takeover has 5 matches. That's always been kind of tradition. You're essentially getting 2 takeovers for the price of 1. It's filthy. This is going to steal the show. I'll be honest, this is going to shit all over Wrestlemania. I truly believe it. But that's night 1. Let's talk about night 2. And of course, the winner of said gauntlet match from night 1 will face Johnny Gargano for the North American Championship. Now, I predicted Dexter Lumis. I think Dexter Lumis challenges Johnny Gargano. I think Dexter Lumis wins against Johnny Gargano and becomes your new North American Champion. Possibly due to interference from Austin Theory, who's a complete and utter moron. Possibly due to the first of Indy Hartwell, who has clearly got her eyes on some Dexter Loomis shenanigans, if you know what I mean. She wants to be in that basement so bad. Make what you want of that statement. But yeah, I think Dexter Loomis captures it. I've got to be honest, he's a bit of a sleeper hit. No pun, or maybe no pun intended, depending on whether you're a fan of the use of chloroform. And if you are, I suggest you contact your local authorities because they might want to have a word with you. But yeah, Dexter Loomis to be the new North American champion. Shenanigans aplenty, I reckon, and Johnny Gargano on the way, just imploding even further in their own minds. Very excited, however, to see this match actually play out because I think Dexter Loomis is really underrated as a worker. I really do. He looks the bollocks. I quite like the gimmick, actually. You know, the idea is that he's essentially Christian Bale's character from American Psycho, but it works for me. It does. Fair play to him. Weirdly enough, despite being a huge women's wrestling fan, can't say I'm overly enthralled about the ways Indy Hartwell and Candice LeRae challenging Shotzi Blackheart and Ember Moon for the tag titles. Very disappointed that they gave those tag titles to Raquel Gonzalez and Dakota Kai only to have them lose them 30 minutes later. Didn't see the point in it. Should never have bothered in the first place. Should have actually crowned the champions here for my money. I'm expecting the champions to retain, although I would actually like to see the Way win. But I never predict with my heart. I always predict with my head. And I always think, what would Vince McMahon do? Oh, that's right. He'd ruin my evening. So Shotzi Blackheart and Ember Moon are worthy champions, to be fair. Have no dislike of them whatsoever. But I actually would like to see the Way win. Do you know what? Fuck it. We'll go with our heart for once. I'm going to stick my neck out and say the Way capture the women's tag team titles. NXT women's tag team titles from Shotzi Blackheart and Ember Moon. I think that overall this might be the weakest match over the 2 nights, but I guarantee it will still be excellent. That's the high quality I can expect of NXT, because for me it is the best wrestling brand in the world right now, and I think it delivers everything you want from wrestling as an overall package better than anybody else. So yeah, let's go with the Way to capture the Women's Tag Team Championships. And don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, if you are watching this, please do not hesitate to leave your predictions down below. If we get enough of them, I'm thinking we might give a little something away, maybe a t-shirt or a pop vinyl or something, to whoever has the most predictions correct on the night. And if we need a tiebreaker, we can settle it via the YouTube channel there as well. But I thought it's all been a bit of fun, and I've really enjoyed you guys interacting with our videos. So, hey, maybe we might just give something away just to celebrate the fact that you're all fucking amazing, to be honest. Now, continuing on with night 2. Gets a little bit saucy from this point on, doesn't it? Suit you, sir. This, again, could still... You've got 6 matches over 2 nights that could legitimately all be lining up as Match of the Year contenders. A ladder match to determine the undisputed NXT Cruiserweight Champion. And all feelings aside, what you do or don't think about Jordan Devlin, his match with Santos Escobar has the potential to truly shine a light on the next 2 huge megastars of wrestling. I would personally like to see Santos Escobar win, not just because it'll be easier to kind of gloss over all the nonsense involving Jordan Devlin, although I never hide from those things. I understand there are allegations levied against him. I also understand that those allegations have been somewhat dismissed. You know, I'm not defending Jordan Devlin whatsoever, but I am here to analyse this match as a wrestling match, and I expect this to be an absolute show stealer. And with the element of the ladder match as well, I cannot expect anything but 4 to 5 stars from these boys. I think it's going to be world class. I'm all aboard the Santos Escobar hype train. I have been pretty much since he demasked. I love this guy. I think he's got an incredible look, incredible cadence. I think he's far and away better than Angel Garza, who I was a big fan of as well. I feel like he's an evolution of that character. A little bit darker, a little bit more mysterious, a little bit more cartel-esque. Maybe that's why they went with Escobar as a name, because they wanted him to kind of be presumed as somewhat of a cartel-esque leader. You know, he's got his 2 heavies with him. He dresses very appropriately for the role, and he delivers fantastic promos. I just love him. I think he is next level Latin heel. And genuinely, if the company, and particularly Vince McMahon, pulls their thumb out of their ass, this guy could be your next level Latino star. They've always been looking for somebody to take over from that role that Rey Mysterio had. Some people said Andrade should have, from a wrestling standpoint, no question, but he never had the charisma that Santos Escobar does. I think Santos Escobar is primed and ready to be the next humongous Latin star. But at the same time, he's kind of got the cruiserweight smear on him a little bit, which is why I actually really loved his rivalry with Karrion Kross, because it proved that he's not just a cruiserweight. He can work with anyone and have a world-class match. I'm going to stick my neck out and say Santos Escobar becomes the undisputed cruiserweight champion. Be very interesting to see either way, whoever wins this match, what they do going forward. This cruiserweight division feels dangerous and it feels stacked. Normally, I'll be talking about the championship match last, but our penultimate match, at least for my money, and which should not be main eventing, even though it is a co-main event, Finn Balor defends his title against Karrion Kross. It's been a long time coming. What took you so long indeed? Finn Balor said to Karrion Kross a few weeks back. Here we are. This is going to be fucking awesome. I'm all aboard the Finn Balor bandwagon, finally, after years of dismissing him and frankly being borderline offensive towards him because I found him to be so fucking boring. I now find myself loving his body of work, particularly in his current role as the reigning NXT champion. However, I think Karrion Kross wins. Karrion Kross never lost the title. The only thing, though, that does give me pause when it comes to my predictions is the fact that all I keep hearing about is Karrion Kross. They want him on the main roster as soon as possible. You can't really do that if he's going to come up as NXT champion, unless they're going to do something similar to when Kevin Owens came up and challenged John Cena, when John Cena, I believe, was the United States champion. And I do remember, I believe, that Kevin Owens stamped on the US title and raised the NXT title off, which, by the way, was fucking amazing. And some would argue the very first ever shot fired between NXT and the main roster. It's difficult. So difficult. I'm going to stick with Karrion Kross, but I would not be surprised either way. If Finn Balor wins, you can pretty much guarantee Karrion Kross is greenlit to hit the main roster within a couple of weeks, possibly the night after WrestleMania. You always know that Raw is, pretty, shall we say, explosive, pretty controversial. They always have something up their sleeve for the night after WrestleMania, apart from last year, which I remember was pretty fucking dull, actually. I'm pretty sure it was Drew McIntyre versus The Big Show. Oof, that's not a surprise. That is a big letdown. But yeah, I'm going to stick with Karrion Kross. So, yeah, I'll go with Karrion Kross. Sorry, I'm a little bit hesitant, but I will go with Karrion Kross. And I think having Scarlett at ringside as well, there's bound to be some sort of shenanigans. But Finn Balor promises he's going to take him into deep water. How far are these two men going to go in pursuit of the NXT Championship? Probably not as far as these next two men, who should be main eventing both nights. Oh my god. I have not been this excited for a match or a rivalry since Austin versus Rock at WrestleMania 19. 17 obviously is the pinnacle of their rivalry, but for me 19, just because I knew it was going to close out the Austin chapter, and Austin was, he was God to me. He really was, other than Bret Hart. Adam Cole versus Kyle O'Reilly. The Undisputed Era is no more. Just how far are these two men going to go to try and end each other's careers? This is going to be war, an unsanctioned match. This has got Gargano versus Tommaso Ciampa taken to the next level written all over it. I genuinely believe this is going to be truly a match for the ages. This is going to be a match that I reckon they'll talk about in 20 years, like we discuss Austin and The Rock now from 20 years ago at WrestleMania 17. Hard to believe it's been 20 years since arguably the greatest main event in WrestleMania history. Somehow, I don't think Drew McIntyre and Bobby Lashley will quite match up to that, but you're welcome to prove me wrong, lads. Oh, this is tough, because again, I feel like one of them could be heading to the main roster, and if I had to hazard a guess, probably Adam Cole. I really wanted to see Undisputed Era on the main roster. I really did. The possibilities were endless, but no, unfortunately not. It leaves Imperium as kind of the one true faction that I love that's still going. Kyle O'Reilly. I'm going to go with Kyle O'Reilly. I feel like Kyle O'Reilly needs it more. Adam Cole doesn't need it to cement his legacy. He's already been an NXT champion. He's pretty much won all the gold that you need to win. I believe he was the first ever North American champion. He's got buckets of charisma. Kyle O'Reilly is wickedly underrated as a character. We all know what he can do in the ring as a wrestler. But I feel like this would add more credibility to his character and make him a much more believable superstar if they decide to push him onto the main roster. Although both guys, I sound selfish. I kind of want them to stay on NXT forever just because they're used perfectly. If you haven't seen Prime Target, which is the promo build up to this, you have to. frankly. If I can tie it into the end of this video without triggering any copyright issues, I will, although I cannot promise it, so don't expect it. But if it is there, or if you've noticed from this point on there's still about 10 minutes left, you're in luck. If not, I can provide a link to it in the description below either way. But that promo truly is the my way of my generation. Everyone remembers WrestleMania 17, Austin versus Rock. There's a lot of comparisons actually between these two. It's amazing that this isn't for a belt, for a title or anything. This is purely just a grudge match, bad blood, and it's proof that still in this modern era where kayfabe is very much dead, these two can still sell anybody, and these two can still sell a world-class rivalry, and you don't need titles, gold, or some sort of condition or moniker behind it to truly sell it. This should be a masterpiece. I have never been so excited for a match. This is the match that I have set my sights on for the entire week. There's a lot of wrestling coming. Kyle O'Reilly to beat Adam Cole in a huge megastar, 6-7 star, whatever you want to fucking call it, whatever the idiot tuna melter wants to give it. I don't care. I think this is going to be a match of the year for the ages. I think this is going to be a match of the decade. It's going to be incredible. I'm really excited to see this. That's NXT Stand and Deliver, ladies and gentlemen. In the comments below, let us know who you think is going to win, who's going to lose. Give us some of your fantasy booking. I'll try and reply to all of you as we get closer to the magical evening. Hopefully you'll have a bit of time to enjoy these. I'm going to aim to drop this either Monday night or Tuesday morning, so you've got a little bit of time to relax. But if we get enough predictions, then why not? We'll give something away to whoever gets the most predictions right. So, hey, you've got added incentive to leave them in the comments below. Please do not forget to like and subscribe. We're at 320 subs, which is amazing. I frankly was surprised when we got to 10. So the fact we're at 320 is amazing. Thank you so much for that. Love to get to 400. I truly would, and I'd love to just continue, because you can get wrestling content anywhere, but I truly believe you will not get as honest or candid wrestling content as you will at the Wrestle Plug. I've been Aeron. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you very soon for a lot more content from the Wrestle Plug.
I want you to imagine that you were born blind, that you could not see, and then one day you wake up and you can see everything. You know what we call that? We call that a revelation. And I had one. I realized that I didn't need the Undisputed Era anymore. As a matter of fact, the Undisputed Era was holding me back. And you know who made me realize that? It was you, Kyle.
All right, you guys got 15 minutes, okay?
First time I met Adam Cole, wow, it's probably been 11 or 12 years. We met backstage at a show and we hit it off. Little did I know that this man would become both the biggest blessing to my career and the biggest curse.
And the first time I met Kyle O'Reilly was back in 2009. And pretty much from that moment going forward, I in some way, shape, or form have been attached to Kyle O'Reilly. You know, whether that be as a friend, whether that be as opponents, and no matter where it is in the world, Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly have been attached at the hip.
We've known each other for a long time. At least I thought we did. When we first got here, we didn't care who we stepped over to succeed. 4 hungry pitbulls determined to take a spot at the top of the card where we belonged. You could say we were shocking the system, but we were making a statement, and we didn't give a damn about whose expense or who was footing the bill. We've become better wrestlers. We became better fighters. We became champions. We became stars. But only one of us became a better person. a better human being. Adam Cole is just the same that walked into this place 3.5 years ago. And I keep forcing myself to really, truly believe that the last 3.5 years meant nothing, that the Undisputed Era meant nothing. I'm forcing myself to really, truly believe this, because if any part of me thinks for a second that one day you and I could be cool again, I won't do what is necessary to put you down for good.
God's sakes, I bought into this BS that the Undisputed Era was about brotherhood. It was never about that, Kyle. I sat back and I watched you fail, not once, but twice. You tried to have Finn Balor join the Undisputed Era. Have you lost your mind? And then it all made sense to me. It's because deep down in your core, you are nothing more than a lapdog. You are a sidekick. You are someone comfortable being on the sidelines, and that is not me.
Excuse me, Mr. Regal, what just happened between Adam and Kyle?
What's happened is everything is completely out of control, and hopefully the police officers drop their charges, because nothing is going to stop them destroying each other. I'm going to have a solution to their situation. Thank you.
Gentlemen, thank you for joining me here tonight. Now, it's obvious that the situation between the two of you has got out of control, has reached boiling point. In fact, you've got a bloody police involved. And I will not have you embarrass this company that so many people have worked so hard to create. What I have here is a solution to this situation. This is a contract for Kyle O'Reilly to face Adam Cole in the co-main event of Stand and Deliver. This match can only take place when you have both signed this contract and you acknowledge that NXT is not accountable for anything that happens to both of you.
Let me explain something to you, you little punk. You know deep down in your heart you are jealous. You are jealous of me. I'm going to remind you who the better man is.
We've been friends for 11 years, and you've tried to end my career. You tried to end my career, man.
I sold my soul for the Undisputed Era, and I want it back.
I will not rest until I end you.
You just wrote your death warrant.